Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will start our chapter number 3, Beginning of Hindu and Muslim Nationalism. These are your resources. This is chapter number 3 of a book Understanding History by Ismat Riaz, and you can even take help from the History and Culture of Pakistan by Nigel Kelly. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to examine the revival of Hindu nationalist feeling and the setting up of fundamentalist Hindu movements to promote Hindu religion and culture, review the Albert Bill and its role in the creation of Congress, evaluate the reasons for the partition of Bengal and the after effects of it, debate on the reasons of annulment of partition of Bengal. Have a look at this picture. Have you ever heard about the partition of Bengal? Or do you have any information about it? Just recall it. Recall in your mind whatever you know about the partition of Bengal. Okay. Bengal was the largest of the provinces of the subcontinent. So it was very difficult for the British to govern or administer it as one unit. So they decided to partition it. So there were certain other factors also which made them to partition Bengal. We are going to study it today. By the 20th century, Muslim religious reformers had tried to uplift the Muslims as a community in India. The religious reformers like Shah Waliullah, Haji Shariatullah, Sayyid Ahmad Shahid Barelvi, they urged the Muslims to understand and practice their religion in its true spirit to regain their former position. Sir Sayyid Ahmad Khan also stressed upon the modern education and made the Muslim realize the worth of seeking their destiny as a separate community in India. So similarly in Hindu community, their revivalists were also playing their role. So one of their endeavor was the starting of the Arya Samaj. The Arya Samaj was founded in 1875 by Dayananda Saraswati to re-establish the Vedas, the earliest Hindu scriptures. The purpose of it was to sought purification and glorification of the Hindu religion. So it has always had its largest following in western and northern India. It opposes worship of images, animal sacrifice, rituals, child marriage, pilgrimages, priestly craft and temple offerings. It also worked to further female education and intercaste marriages. It built missions, orphanages and homes for widows. It established a network of schools and colleges. So from its beginning, it was an important factor in the growth of Indian nationalism. It has been criticized as overly dogmatic and militant and as having exhibited an aggressive intolerance towards both Christianity and Islam. Albert Bill. Sir C.P. Albert, the law member of the Viceroy's Council, introduced a bill popularly known as Albert Bill in 1883. This bill allowed senior Indian magistrates to preside over cases involving British subjects in India. The reason behind the introduction of this bill was to end racial discrimination in judiciary system. This bill caused widespread agitation amongst the European community. The bill, severely weakened by compromise, was passed by the Indian Legislative Council on January 25, 1884. The passage of this bill opened the eyes of Indians and deepened antagonism between the British and the Indians. The result was wider nationalism and establishment of Indian National Congress. British subjects in 1873 had been exempted from trial by Indian magistrates, and in cases involving death or transportation they could only be tried by the High Court. This Albert Bill provoked furious protest, especially among Calcutta, European business community and Bengal indigo planters. A compromise was reached by which a British subject could claim a jury, half of which would be Europeans. The new westernized Indian middle class felt itself insulted by this arrangement. This incident did much to give Indian national feeling a political form. Although this bill was taken back as because of the British reaction towards it, but the Indians felt insulted as they were in considerable numbers in the judicial services. So Indian national sentiments were aroused, and this event resulted in the formation of the Indian National Congress, because that gave the realization to the Indians that the British were not going to give them the rights. They were not in the favor of those bills which were giving any empowerment to the Indians. This is the picture of Mr. A.O. Hume, who was a retired British civil servant and the founder of the Indian National Congress. And he had much support from retired Indian civil service members. There were only 72 delegates at the first session of it in Bombay. The second session at Calcutta in 1886 had 434 delegates, and after 1900 the Congress spread to other parts of India, and there were 758 delegates later on in it. In the first session of the Indian National Congress at Bombay in 1885, a formal protest against the Alfred Bill was lodged by the delegates. So the delegates also asked for the opening of the Indian civil service to Indians, opportunities for Indians to serve on various councils, and abolition of the Secretary of State's Council in Whitehall, as it was a drain on Indian resources. So they made the Indian National Congress in order to work actually as a bridge between the Indians and the British, so that the British could get to know about the feelings, about the aspiration of the Indians, and can govern the country smoothly. So this step actually they took in order to smoothly run their own government. Bengal was a big administrative unit under the British rule, had been finally established in India. So it was the largest of the provinces of the subcontinent. So it began to be felt that Bengal should be split into two parts for administrative convenience, because the British were finding it difficult to govern it as one unit. It was also the first major political crisis faced by British after winning the control on subcontinent. So actually Bengal was the largest of the provinces, and Lord Curzon suggested that it should be split into two units in order to govern it in a better way. Even though the idea of partitioning Bengal had been suggested much earlier, because of its size, it had been implemented later on. So when the partition was done, two new provinces were created: East Bengal and Assam with its capital at Dhaka, and West Bengal, Bihar and Orissa with its capital at Calcutta. Let's have a look at the main reasons for the partitioning of Bengal. The main reason for the partition of Bengal was that since it was a large province with a population of 85 million people, so it was not possible for one governor to control it. Like I earlier told you that it was split into two because of its size. Among them, 58 million were Hindus and 27 million were Muslims. In 1903, Viceroy Curzon proposed that Bengal should be partitioned into West Bengal and East Bengal. In 1905, the British partitioned Bengal. So Bengal were divided into two provinces, East Bengal and Assam, with Dhaka at its capital. The eastern province would include Assam and three districts previously considered to be a part of West Bengal: Dhaka, Chittagong and Mymensingh. West Bengal was having Kolkata as its capital. Reaction of Hindus and Muslims on partition. Before throwing light on reaction of Hindus and Muslims on the partition of Bengal, in fact, the rise of the nationalist feelings That was also one of the reasons behind the partitioning of the Bengal, other than its size. Apparently, they said that they wanted to divide Bengal because of its size. They were finding it difficult to govern as one unit because of its size. But there were other reasons also, and one of them was the rise of the nationalist feelings among the Indians. So the reaction of Hindus and Muslims on partition was different, because the Hindus were not happy with the partition and the Muslims were happy with the partition because they got their area where now they could be free. So the Muslim greatly welcomed the partition and felt jubilant over it because in the newly created province they were in majority. The Hindus, on the other hand, reacted violently to the partition because they had been holding a privileged position in the socio-economic life of Bengal till the partition took place. So they were taking maximum advantage of it. They now believe that they have lost their status and declared that the partition was an attempt to weaken and divide Bengal and called it divide and rule policy of British. In fact, they thought that the British divided Bengal just to weaken the Hindu authority there. So the Hindus greatly opposed this partition and started a movement generally known as Swadeshi movement, in which they boycotted all English goods. Many Hindus observed the partition day as a day of national mourning. Even the Indian National Congress supported the Hindus. So this was the reaction of Hindus and the Muslims on partition. So the severe reaction actually came from the Hindus, and they started the Swadeshi movement, in which they completely boycotted British goods. The Hindu reaction towards the partition of Bengal was very severe. In order to pressurize the British, they started violent protest, and those were organized by Congress. And they even boycotted the British made goods, especially the British clothes. So the situation was getting out of the hands of the British, so they decided to reverse the partition of Bengal. Since 1908, the Congress leaders had been spreading the story that the government was thinking of repeating of the partition of Bengal, but the government stood firm on its decision which had taken in 1905. So they were thinking that they will reverse the partition of Bengal. But in the beginning, the British, they showed that they will remain firm on it. They launched a movement for boycott that is about the Hindus, that, like I told you earlier, they boycotted the British goods. The Muslims were also asked to participate in it, but they refused to do so. Their refusal led to Hindu-Muslim riots. Even there was an assassination attempt from Hindus on the future Viceroy, Lord Minto. The Muslims were only relying on the assurance given to them, which was soon disillusioned. Lord Hardinge, the new Viceroy, agreed to reverse the partition of Bengal, and on a visit of George V, it was reversed. So it was only because of the Hindu pressure the British had to reverse the partition of Bengal. Let's have a look at the effects of annulment or the reversal of the partition on the Muslims. Definitely the Muslims were not happy with the reversal of the partition because they were getting benefits out of it. So the reversal of the partition was bitterly opposed by the Muslims, but the British were not to be moved. The Muslim now realized just how vital it was that the Muslim League prospered if Muslims were to receive fair treatment in India. We will study about Muslim League's formation, its objectives, and how it worked in our next lesson. So the Muslims lost all their hopes. The deep disappointment caused by reversal or the annulment of the partition indirectly served to quicken the growth of the Muslim politics. They became politically more conscious. They came to the decision that they could not trust the British government for the protection of their rights. So actually it proved to be a blessing in disguise. Although the Muslims did not get any benefit when it was reversed, but they came to know the real face of the British, and they realized this thing, that they need to mobilize themselves, they need to be united, and they need to mobilize their own political body. Let's have a recap of today's lesson. Today we read about different Hindu movements, predominantly about Arya Samaj, which was founded in 1875 in order to re-establish the Vedas, the earliest Hindu scriptures. Then we read about the Albert Bill, the law which was passed by the law member of the Viceroy's Council and popularly known as Albert Bill. The proposal as embodied in Albert Bill provoked furious protests, especially among Calcutta European business community and Bengal indigo planters. It began to be felt that Bengal should be split up into two parts for administrative convenience. We have read about the partitioning of the Bengal. It was the largest of the provinces, so the British decided to partition it. So the main reason for the partitioning was that since it was a large province with a population of 85 million, so it was not possible for one governor to control it. So in order to govern it effectively, the British decided to partition Bengal. The Muslims were very happy with the partition, so they greatly welcomed it, but the Hindus opposed it because they thought that it was an attack on their majority, and they thought that it was a part of British divide and rule policy. So they started their Swadeshi movement. They showed while they started violent protest, and they tried to pressurize the British, and later on British had to agree to reverse the partition of Bengal, which they did in 1911. So the Muslims were not happy with this decision because now they could not trust the British government for the protection of their rights. So the Muslims came to the conclusion that the British cannot be trusted. So if they want to protect their right, they themselves need to do something. This is today's written task. Explain how the Albert's Bill led to the making of Congress. Why was Bengal partitioned in 1905? Why did the Congress and Hindu of West Bengal oppose it? I hope you learned a lot from today's lessons. Focus on all the content and attempt the questions, write down their answers according to the marking scheme. Best of luck.